Hi, it's me again. Oh, one of my favorite songs in all the world is Dear God, It's Me Again. Every now and then I pray, for when life becomes balanced, you give the hardest lessons to the ones you call your own. I may stumble, I may fall, but I know I'm not alone. Dear God, I'm worn down, but I'd still say amen. Anyways, today is a good day as always, and I am grateful. Um, I have shelter at this point. It's still not my own place to dwell or to be, but it's safer than being out there. And it's cold. It got cold again. Uh, it snowed again. And they say we're not done just yet. It was supposed to snow today, but it hasn't so far. But you never know. In the morning, I'll probably wake up and go, oh, not again. But I should complain. I grew up, young in northern China, if you want, or South Russia. It just depends which way you're looking at it, or from whose perspective, over in Mongolia. On the western seaboard, the first mountain in the Himalayas. Everybody thinks Mongolia. They think of Genghis Khan, who went east into Persia, and Mount Everest, the biggest mountain, and and that's a desert away from me. And here's a geography lesson for you: 2 deserts away to Africa to me, and 50 miles from uh, Resolute, Russia, to Nome, Alaska, which is North America. And when the tide's out, that's how we rode the horse thing here in 1223, herding the caribou north and the buffalo south. In written history. I think I put that up on the other Silver Fox, because the thing is, I thought the 9 wild tribes came here, but it was 7 during that period of upheaval. And that was 1223. I got a good song about it, anyways. And I literally had somebody in the most racist, prejudicial thing to be said. And to your own brown mama, you can ride the horse out that you rode in on. I was like, you didn't just seriously say that. See, the thing about racism and prejudice, it's it's not exclusive to one race or another. Like I've been prejudiced against by all peoples on the planet, and what's odd about it is there's only one race on the planet, and that's the human race. But I think that's the key, humane. There's always something lost in communication when you don't always speak the same language. See, the first language is music, and that's why my brothers, the Who, became so popular, because they're playing the first instruments, and they they carry on the wind. If you ask anyone in an interview, they will tell you the same thing. We come from the stars. Beginning. Bitak Piyoyate. Okay, that's the star people. And how similar, the dialect is. And this land originally was mapped by dialect. So, on the original map on the basin, it's funny because Canada was considered to be a bay over in that Athabasca Basin that goes into the Cascades. The Rocky Mountains were the parameters. West of the Rockies or east west of the Tetons. The Teton Mountains, and that's what I always said because I speak in the T dialect, not D or N, but T. Titang, Tang, Tia, Pahachkata, Nahe, Ata versus Ato. And then there's the nasal aspect. And then the guttural. And then every Native American that has Native American blood, and there's your requirement, is born with these blue spots. For me, when, because Alexander III, blood runs deep in my veins too. And so that little blue-eyed baby boy of mine that had bruises on his backside, I nearly lost it. Thought the babysitter was, abusing him. Till they asked me. And then the quest began. And, I'm really thankful to Jack Agagagaway for asking the ultimate question. Said, I know what you can do, Bettina. And I know where your power comes from. But who are you? And I was like, I don't know who I am. And so the quest began. And it's been a pleasure finding out. Some things were hard to take, and memories were hard time to digest. But each was a lesson, and that's what I thank God for. I never did pray. I mean, the one thing when I was praying for a young missing, one of the first missing, I can't call her a woman. She was 15 years old, and yes, she had twin baby boys. Teresa Williams was the one that started me on the prayer journey and the quest for seeking answers to our missing women. And they missing, exploited, and stolen. And then, of course, when the residential school issue came up, and I couldn't even take that personal. And then the first time I was on the hill and I had that fire in my belly that caused my whole body to quake. And I said, rise up, rise up, rise up. And that was July 17th, 1989, a day I'll never forget. As I came down off the hill and the barricades were going up, Oka took place. And the first thing I said to the elders that were with me is, they did. Now what do we do? And we walked across the country, grandmothers and the women, and every single person that was of Native descent and non-Native people, everybody thought, oh, this is the Victory Day, freedom. And the first 3 years were awesome. Sovereignty wasn't the issue. And then somehow, I don't know what happened, 28 years later, and we're worse off than we've ever been. And I told them to rebuild the nation. That they did. But under the circumstance of the same genocidal policy, their children were taken from them. They were, still given the worse habits than they had before. Just like not everybody's a chief, right? Well, not everybody, in Indians need leaders to guide them. It's like in the buffalo herd, you would think the dude with the biggest horn would be the one that guides and leads them, but it's not. It's the oldest female in the herd that leads the buffalo. Same with the wolf, and same with the sea wolf, the killer whales.